Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So I bring today a little haul. I went to a little book festival that was happening in my country, where we get discounted books at a really nice price, if I do say so. Most of the time I always buy my books on Amazon because buying them at bookstores in my country, at least in English, it's normally way more expensive, and they most of the time don't really have an English section, so I always have to buy them online. But this time around I was able to buy a few English books that I didn't have, and I haven't read, so let's get to it. All of the books I'm going to be showing I had no intention of buying other than one of them. The other ones I just saw and I thought they seem really interesting, and I really had no intention of buying books this year, at least the ones that are here. I have a few that I want to buy, but they were way on my list way before, since last year when they were announced, so I was like, I'm only going to be buying those. But since these ones appeared and were pretty, they were really cheap. Yeah, let's start. So right here I have House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. It's this one. I have never heard of the author, never heard of this book, but the book seemed really interesting. It says on the cover, Annalay lives a sheltered life at Highmoor with her sisters. Once there were 12, but loneliness fills the grand halls now that 4 of the girls' lives have been cut short, each death more tragic than the last. That seemed really interesting. And it has a little octopus on the corner. You can see here, I'm going to, yeah, focus, yeah. This one here, it looks really pretty. So yeah, that's House of Salt and Sorrows. It seems really interesting by the back. There's another book. I think there's a sequel to this one, but I'm going to read the first one. It's not really that chunky. It seems chunky, but it's probably like 200 pages because the letters are really spaced out. So yeah, House of Salt and Sorrows. The next one I have is, can I go with this one? I'll go with this one. Book of Night by Holly Black. I have quite a few of her books. I have the Cruel Prince trilogy, and now I have the Prisoner's Throne. That's not the first book, that's the second one. But the second, basically the second series, which is a duology, I have that one. But this book has been out for quite a few years, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 2018, 2019, 2022. It was 2 years ago. Okay, maybe it was not that long ago, but yeah, 2 years ago. And I saw on a lot of different book boxes, like Fairy Loot and stuff like that. There were 2 different covers for this book, like a white and black one, and then this one, the inverse, I mean, the white and black. And then I saw this one and I was like, that seems really cute. I might buy it. And it came damaged. I was really pissed about that. I really hate when books come damaged, and I think everyone understands that. When you're buying a brand book and it comes damaged, it's really pissy. If you're buying secondhand, of course there's always going to be a little damage, but it's brand new. So yeah, this book talks, what does it say? Charlie Hall has never found a lock she couldn't pick, a book she couldn't steal, or a bad decision she couldn't make. She spent half her life working for glow mists, magicians who manipulate shadows and guard their secrets greedily, creating an underground economy of grimoires. But to rob their fellow magicians, they need Charlie. So yeah. There's more to this book, I'm sure there is. I know it doesn't have a really great score on Goodreads. But you know what? It's like everything in life. Like some books people enjoy, other books people don't. I think I'm going to like this book. And there's also a sequel to this one. I think the sequel was going to come out next year. I hope I'm not saying shit. But yeah, that's the second one I got. The third one was The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic by Brienne Randall. I also never heard of this author or this book. But the cover is really pretty. You know, I have said this in different videos, but I'm someone who gets really called to a book by their cover. And this one, you can see, you get it. You gotta get it. It's really pretty. It says that this book is about a little bit of magic, a little bit of family, a little bit of romance, and I was like, okay, this seems like a really nice book. And then I did the mistake of looking online the reviews, and they said the book wasn't really that good. But like I said, I don't really trust reviews because I saw a review of one of my all-time favorite books, which I'm not going to name because people don't like that book that much, which said really awful things about it and I didn't enjoy, and it were things that I actually enjoyed in the book. It was basically saying that they didn't like that people were now putting like mainstream pop media stuff into books, but that's a thing that has been happening like since the beginning of books. They always quote stuff that's happening nowadays. We can't get stuck in the early 2000s, okay? We gotta put stuff early 2020s now. So don't get pissy about that information inside of books. It's actually good because now you can get some things you wouldn't get like from early 2000s quotes and stuff like that. So yeah, I flipped the page and I saw NCIS mentioned here, so you know, a girly loves her NCIS and CSI shows, so this is probably gonna be good. The next one, this one I actually already started reading, as you can see from, okay, maybe you cannot see, but I had a little thing here, so yeah. You have heard of this book and so have I, and this was the only one I was like, yes, I need to buy that one. So that's the one I got. It's Emily Wilde's Encyclopaedia. I had a hard time mentioning this one on the vlog, and I'm having a hard time mentioning it here. Emily Wilde's Encyclopaedia of Faeries. It's a novel by Heather Follett? Oh, this lettering is really bad for my eyes. I think it's Follett. I think it's an L. Yeah, Heather Follett. This cover is gorgeous. This book has been out for a few months now. I first heard of it last year, November. I think it was in November when I started hearing more about this book. I didn't really know what it was about. I didn't really search much about it. But then the cover caught my eyes, and one of my favorite content creators talked about this book on one of her videos, and I was like, maybe it's good. So I did a little research, and this is basically about a professor like of fairies, but like, you know, Holly Black's creatures, how she puts little different creatures in her books, like in the Spiderwick Chronicles, Spiderwick Chronicles, I think. It's hard, the names being different in English and in Portuguese, okay, so if I'm switching out the titles, I'm really sorry. But you know those creatures that she mentions in her other books? This one, those are the type of fairies there are in this book. It's not like angelic fairies from Sarah Maas. It's more like a little toad, a little frog, maybe like Tinkerbell style type of fairies, if I'm not mistaken. And she studies them, and she's basically making her doctorate about fairies. So she travels to a different country to do a little research about the type of fairies that are residing in that country and in that little town. in the middle of fucking nowhere. And right now I'm really enjoying this book. It's not too slow paced. The phrases aren't too spread. Oops, aren't too like spread. So it's been really easy for me to read. How long is this book? It's like 300 pages. Yeah, it's 300 pages ish. It's like 330. So I would say this is going to be a quick read if I don't get bored, which I am pretty sure I won't. And there's also another book after this one. I'm not sure why they were selling the American covers on this festival. Normally we only have UK covers, but I literally got like 1, 2, 3, 4 of the books I bought are American covers, so I don't know what's going on, but there's that. So I if I want to buy the second book, I will have to buy the US cover because you ain't catching me buying the other one. And I also noticed that there's going to be a third book. So there's 1, there's 2, which came out this year, if I'm not mistaken. I think it came out like a month ago. I'm pretty sure it was a month ago, but I'll put somewhere when it came out. And the third one is going to come out 2025, middle of year, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a lot to read, people. There's a lot to read in here. The back says, I do not know how to pronounce this word. A Curmudgeonly professor journeys to a small town in the far north to study fairy folklore and discovers dark fae magic, friendship and love, and the start of a heartwarming and enchanting new fantasy series. This one is also another one I wasn't going to buy, but then I saw it and I was like, I need more Neil Gaiman books, so this is the one I got. It's The Ocean at the End of the Lane. I'm a sucker for Neil Gaiman books. I really am. This one is so short. It's 230 pages, 230, and the lines are pretty much spaced out, and it's tiny. It's really tiny. It's like a pocket version of the books, and it's all the US version. I told you, US. They really need to do it. But this is one of my favorite covers of this book. I am a sucker for Neil Gaiman's book covers. One of my favorite books is Coraline. It's one of the first books I read when I was younger. So Neil Gaiman has a special place in my heart. So I saw one of his books, which is this one, at the festival, and I was like, I never see Neil Gaiman's books like in the wild, so I gotta get this one. And it was like €6, which is a steal. I know in the back it says it's $9 US. I never get books this cheap, even if they're small. It's always like 10 to 12 euros. So I'm really happy about it. I actually don't know what the book is about. I just bought it because, like I said, I'm a sucker for his books. It says, a middle-aged man returns to his childhood home to attend a funeral. Although the house he lived in is long gone, he is drawn to the farm at the end of the road, where, when he was 7, he encountered a most remarkable girl, Letty Hempstock, and her mother and grandmother. He hasn't thought of Letty in decades, and yet, as he sits by the pond, a pond that she's claimed was an ocean, behind the ramshackle old farmhouse where she once lived, the unremembered past comes flooding back, and it is a past too strange, too frightening, too dangerous to have happened to anyone, let alone a small boy. That looks crazy. So these two were my all-time favorites to buy. These are my favorites this year. This festival happens every year, and last year I did a video that was called The Big Book Haul. I'll link it so you can watch if you want. This year, these are the books I got. And honestly, I'm really happy about my choices because they're all really dark colored. Like, all of my books are always really light colored, but these ones are just really dark. And I need a little bit of darkness in my, how do you call it, on my bookshelf. It's not a bookshelf, is it a book? Okay, maybe it's a bookshelf. You see, they're really dark. They look really nice next to each other's. So yeah, I'm the type of person who organizes my books by author and then genre. So there's a little bit of mixed colors in my bookcase. I don't organize it by only genre. So basically, imagine I'll put the books by genre, but if I have a book by the same author that's not the same genre, I'll still shove it there because it's the same author and I like to keep the same author in the same, like, next to each other's. So yeah, there's that. I know people don't organize their bookshelves like me. I know there are people who organize their bookshelves by color. Yeah. I know there are people who organize their bookshelves by only genre. So authors are like little pops everywhere. I try to keep genre and authors together. Even if there's like a book that's not really that genre, I'll still keep it there because it's next to your author. And when someone comes over, I can just say, hey, you wanna read Neil Gaiman? I have like 2 books now. And this one is about this, and this one is about that. 2 different type of genres, but by the same author. So yeah, that's it. That's all the books I got this year at this festival. Not this year. I am going to buy more books this year. I was going to wait until the end of this month to record this video because I am getting another book this month, and it's the Not in Love book by Ali Hazelwood. I have to always mention it's Hallie Hazelwood because people are always like, who's Ali? It's Hazelwood. It's always Hazelwood. So yeah, but at the end of the month I'm going to travel. And there's going to be a little vlog about it if I'm not an airhead and forget to record. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to record this video on time, and we gotta get that bank, people. We gotta put weekly vlogs and weekly videos. So I decided I would record this one, and the book wouldn't really match all these covers because it's too light. So I'm happy I recorded this video when I did. So that's all the books. That's all the things I got. If I have to recommend a book for you to read, start by Emily Wilde's Encyclopaedia. I cannot pronounce the word. Emily Wilde's Encyclopaedia of Faeries. It's the only one I've read out of these, and it's the one I'm enjoying the most. It's probably going to be the one I enjoy the most because all the others had really low ratings. But don't get discouraged by that because I believe that every book has their potential. So there's that. Hope you enjoyed this video. Bye bye.